Welcome back to the first ever episode of Hello Dryden. Hello, Dryden. This is Reagan Breeze. I'm here with him of
the Kenora District Fire Mutual Aid Association.
Public Educator. It is Emergency Preparedness Month.
That's right, Andy.
How are you doing?
Very well, thank you for having me.
Tell us about Emergency Preparedness Month. How can we get prepared?
Emergency Preparedness Month is time when emergency services will discuss to the public about being prepared up to 72 hours. And the reason for the 72 hours is it may take up to 72 hours for emergency service to get in reach with you after a disaster occur. Okay. There's a lot of things that could possibly happen. One thing that we ask people is to visualize that a tornado may possibly come into a community. What kind of destruction could possibly happen from that? Emergency services could be stretched to the maximum. Mm-hmm. And so we actually need people to be aware and to be prepared about up to 72 hours with having a non-perishable goods, a radio, spare batteries. We need people with some sort of financing such as money, Interact cards, because power could be down as well. Funds. Anything whatsoever that could relate to it. If they need any more information pertaining to on having an established 72-hour kit, they could go to www.getprepared.ca.
Where can we get one of these brochures, Regan? Because it's also, you know, it's jam-packed with the same kind of goodness in terms of being prepared. Where can I find one of these?
That's a very good question. If a person doesn't have a computer to go on the www.getprepared.ca, contact your local fire services. The fire services within Canada all have these brochures, and they're filled with a lot of knowledge, just an educational material just for people outside of just having the kit.
And I see actually flipping through this that it's actually province specific.
That's right, yeah. It has every province within Canada, but it doesn't just focus just on the person itself. We also ask people to take in consideration the fact for their pets and also loved ones as well. Because we're in an aging society nowadays where we may need a little bit more help from the general public as well to be prepared to get them through that 72 hours for us to get them.
Well, like you said, in like let's say a tornado, you know, knock on wood happens, you know, there's mass confusion. It sounds like a really good plan to me to get prepared for that type of event.
Exactly.
Hopefully that doesn't happen, but.
Exactly. Last year, for instance, fire services came up with an emergency management in Ontario. They partnered up with the Red Cross as well, and we did a student survival challenge. And what we did was we locked down the school for the whole entire night.
Is that right?
The kids brought in their emergency kits that would last them just for that night, just for the 24 hours. But they registered through the Red Cross, and we actually turned the lights out. The kids had to eat non-perishable goods like they would in a real event emergency.
That's right.
But we also brought in 8 presenters through different agencies that deal with emergency preparedness. And they actually discussed and educated the children on why it's so important to have some sort of emergency preparedness and a kit to be prepared in case of a situation may happen. Dryden, for instance, saw its first tornado last year since a long time. It's a little twister, but just think of the fact that if that twister were to happen within our community, the disarray that it could possibly hold with the community. And we just want people to be more aware of the fact that you need to have a kit, you need to have a plan. And when you have that plan, we want you to practice it and be informed. And this is not just for the adults. This is necessary for the kids, because the kids need to know exactly what to do in the event of emergency.
Everybody in the family.
Exactly, and it goes along quite closely with having a fire safety plan. And we're asking right now to let kids be aware that this is a real serious thing that's happening with the weather changes and so forth. And Dryden Fire Service and Kenora and Fort Frances and Ear Falls and the other communities within Northwestern Ontario are all participating with this. And Kenora District Fire Mutual Aid Association, which represents 15 fire services within the Kenora riding, are all telling people and educating the students about being prepared.
Be prepared, that is key for emergencies. Regan, we were also talking earlier about you having some fire alarms, because fire alarms are also an excellent thing to have in your house. Should I change my batteries once a year? Should I change them every day?
It's a very good question.
I know that comes up a lot, but I think it's a good idea to refresh maybe people's minds.
Exactly, and we try to do that within the fire services quite often. Anytime we engage with the public, we always tell people about smoke alarms. Every home needs to have a smoke alarm, a working smoke alarm on every story and outside every bedroom. Okay. So from there, we ask people to change batteries twice a year if they can,
Twice a
every
year.
time change. And as well,
Fall back, spring forward.
You betcha.
Spring forward, fall back.
Yep, and we also ask people to test them once a month. And
Okay.
that's just basically by hitting your test button.
Get
And
on a chair and.
exactly. Batteries don't last forever, as
That's
we all
right,
know.
yeah.
So there's a lot of education out there for smoke alarms. Just contact your fire service within your community, and they'll be more than happy to educate you. A lot of people aren't aware that smoke alarms only last up to 10 years, and if they expire after that date, it's time to get a new one in
It's time
place.
to get a new one.
That's
probably.
right.
When would you say is a better time than 10 years to put in a new fire alarm?
We ask people to follow the guidelines within
Okay.
the manufacturer guidelines of the smoke alarm that they have. 10 years is the date that we want them to change them up.
Okay.
Also, just follow the rules like they said. But at the same time, we also ask people to install a carbon monoxide alarm as well.
And where should we be installing those real quick, Regan?
There's different scenarios that could possibly happen, so we ask people to contact their fire services, and the fire services will be more than happy to help them out with that issue.
Show us maybe, let's see what we're giving away here, Regan. You're giving away a couple of these bad boys. Nice.
That's right.
Yes.
So-
Okay, so what are we doing with these?
So what we have here, we have an ionized smoke alarm that we're going to put out for draw.
Okay.
And this one here as well. This one is a glow-in-the-dark sparky smoke alarm as well.
That one's a nice one.
Yeah, it's nice. It's attractive for the children because it replaces the possibility of having a nightlight,
Okay.
which possibly could cause a fire as well too.
That's true.
Yeah, so we
That's
minimize
true.
the risk right there. But this here glows in the dark, and it works in conjunction, the same as the ionized smoke alarm here.
Okay.
But it just makes it more of an attractive feature for children.
Well, we certainly appreciate you being in here and telling us about fire and smoke alarms and being prepared for emergencies.
Thank you,
And one more time, where can we get educated as to smoke alarms and fire plans, emergency preparedness? Tell us where we can go to get that information.
And that information, you can just go on the general internet, and a lot of that information is there as well.
Okay.
But we do ask people to contact their fire services within their community, and they'll be more than happy to assist. They are the professionals in that area, then they'd be more than happy to go into your house and give you a proper location and so forth, and maybe even switch up your smoke alarm if it needs be. Another thing I'd like to add is that within Dryden, Family Safety Night is on June 6th.
Family Safety Night,
Yep, and we asked all people to come out and participate in that.
June 6th. Mark your calendar.
Thank you, please.
Regan Breeze.
Thank you, Andy.
First guest ever on Hello Dryden. Regan Breeze.